My name's Browne. I'm the Manager of Professional Development for Clubs New South Wales, the industry body for registered clubs, golf clubs, bowling clubs, RSLs across the state of New South Wales. I've given myself the title of CEO, which is Chief Education Officer for Clubs New South Wales, so that I fit in. Feeling a little bit cool, feeling a little bit stiff. This is my 10th sleep out, so I'm a bit of a veteran, and it doesn't get any easier, folks. It's just still cold and it's still hard on the ground, and it's just a tough gig, and I think at 10 to 4 I've probably hit about 4.5 hours sleep in total. Yeah, look, it's probably one of the things that really is beneficial from the sleep out point of view that we do experience. A, the conditions, but B, we hear the stories of the people that Vinnies have actually helped, and over the years there have been some amazing stories. The 3 last night were just as amazing as ever. Sharon, who lived the high life and ended up crashing down to the depths of despair and homelessness, and is trying to rebuild her career in business development. Wayne, who has suffered the difficulties of being gay and living in an agricultural environment where that's not been accepted for a long time, and his own thoughts of suicide, the suicide of one of his children. He had 5 kids, and those sorts of things are heart-wrenching, and still homeless and trying to find a place for him and his mother, who he looks after, to survive. And then finally Matt, who lived on the street rough as a young man, but then got into all the wrong crowd with drugs and violence and bikie gangs and what have you, and then one day just finally saw the light, and was Vinnies and the notion of Vinnies' help from many years earlier that basically rescued him from his plight. And now he's a motivational and inspirational individual who's doing amazing things in the business world, but also inspiring people with his personal story. So it's really a great thing, and the concept of walking a mile in their shoes, I think, is one of the real benefits of this particular program. Look, one of my work colleagues has basically rescued a chap off the streets. His name's John. Had a little dog, and his difficulty for getting accommodation in shelters for many years was the fact that he had the dog, and the shelters wouldn't take a man and his dog. And so my colleague Debbie, helped out and was always trying to find him some accommodation, would always give him some money for food, get dog food for the dog. And anyway, John got very ill and ended up in hospital, and Debbie went in and formally became his guardian, and she's now been able to place him in an aged care facility because he's over 70. And he's lived on the streets for many years, and so there's my message out of this is that there's hope for all of you, no matter what your story, no matter what the reason that you're on the street, whether it is an addiction to substance, whether it's a psychosis that you've got, whether it's just hard times. There are people out there who are willing to help you, and the people sleeping out here tonight are doing a small thing towards that help in raising some funds to give to Vinnies, but it's Vinnies who do such a great job and really help people get back on their feet, get back into the mainstream, and I think one of Matt's messages tonight was that there's somebody out there that loves enough to give you a go and give you a hand up. So, you might be in a bad place at the moment, but there's always hope. Tomorrow's going to be another day, and tomorrow will bring that, for want of a better word, and it's the wrong word, but salvation's the only one I can come up with at 4 o'clock in the morning. The salvation from your plight on the street. I think the same as every night that I've done this, that the dread of the cold, knowing that I'll probably only get 4 or 5 hours sleep. Funnily enough, it's always my knees that seem to wake me up. Old sporting knees, I guess. And eventually the cold just gets to them and they wake you up. And this year I went soft. I actually used a blanket, so even with the blanket, my knees got cold. Yeah, I slept on the grass, so it's just that little bit more forgiving than the concrete. It's been concrete pretty much everywhere else that we've been. Even in our time at Telstra Stadium in the first couple of years, it was always up on the stands rather than out on the oval. So it was a nice little benefit to have that little bit of extra softness. No, look, I want to commend my personal friend Bernie Fion, who started the whole concept. I've said to a number of people that before 2006 we used to have these lavish dinners where we'd pay $150 a head, and it was incongruous that we were having these glamorous dinners and trying to raise money for people who were sleeping rough on the streets. So when one of Bernie's kids came in with the story that their school were doing a sleep out for homeless. He thought that was a much better option, and it's gone from about 13 of us, I think, sleeping out in the first year at Telstra Stadium to 357 tonight, and not just in Sydney but across the country for about 5 years now, and internationally for the last 2. And I think this year we had their first sleep out in Europe, but previously 2 years in South Africa, and apparently in its second year the CEO Sleepout in South Africa was already the largest public fundraising event in Africa as a continent. So hats off to Bernie. It's a great thing he's done, the whole concept that he's launched and worked with Vinnies, and with the help of a lot of friends along the way, he's made a phenomenal fundraising effort that's raising the awareness of homelessness, not just in Australia but internationally.